right here today.
Hey, folks, welcome back to the Land Fixer podcast. I am your host, Logan Swanson, and we have friend of the podcast back again, Alicia. How are you?
Hey, Logan, I'm doing wonderful. Thanks. How about you?
Oh, we are surviving in Dallas. And you've been hanging out in Florida for a while, but before we get into
Oh,
that,
yeah.
let me plug our services quick. Folks, if you need to list your land or you're interested in buying land off market at wholesale prices, go to primelandexchange.com, check out our inventory or list your properties. Also, if you are a land flipper and you need funding, go to landpartnerfunding.com. We will help you fund your flips, your subdivides, your entitlement projects, whatever you might want to do. The more creative, the better. And folks, if you are local to Dallas, Fort Worth area, we are hosting a monthly seminar series. We hosted our first one last month. Next month in March on the 21st from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m., we have Bhaskar Pandey coming up from Houston. He's going to entertain us with a bunch of cool insights and information. The month after that, we're having John Jasniak come in, and he's going to talk all about big country subdivides. So a lot of exciting stuff going on. Check that out. Go to the Facebook group, DFW Land Investors, and you'll see all the information there. All right. That aside, AJ, thank you for joining us. And please
Oh,
introduce yourself a
pleasure to
little
be here
bit.
again.
Yeah.
Pleasure to be here again. By the way, for anyone listening, get along to those events because Bazkar and John are legends. They know their stuff. They've been around a long time and they're great guys and they're go-givers. So definitely get along to those people. Where do you want to start, Logan?
Well, first, I know we have a really cool product that you want to talk about today, but give folks a little bit of primer on who you are and how you got to
Yeah,
today.
cool.
A quick, like 2-3 minute sort of deal, and then we'll start getting
Yep,
into the
we'll
newer
we'll do the
stuff.
high level because if anyone's listened to your previous episodes, they've probably heard
Yes.
my intro. But for those that haven't listened to Logan's other episodes, my name is Alicia Jarrett, also known as AJ. Everyone just calls me AJ because it's much easier. And in Australia, we like to shorten everything. So yes, I'm an Aussie, but I am based in the US. I've been doing deals over here for nearly a decade, and started out with houses, doing fix and flips, then got into vacant land, then got into data and marketing, which is what supercharged offers is. So we provide a whole bunch of different services for real estate investors around their data, cold calling, appointment setting, direct mail, digital marketing, and beyond. So yeah, that's where we're at, Logan. There's the 2 minute high level version.
Yeah,
And
that's
currently
awesome.
in sunny Florida, which is wonderful.
Yes, and let's go ahead and just since we're at the top here, how about you lead off and tell us about this new product that you're partnering with your friend to, I would say, upset all of real estate on the internet, right?
Yeah, yeah. I love that you've used the word upset. I'm going to
Yeah.
use some different words. I think the word disrupt
Yeah.
gets a bit overused these days as well. But other words that come to mind is challenge, rearrange, provide alternatives for. It's really exciting, Logan. So to come back to the evolution first of all. So with supercharged offers, being that we are a data and marketing company, we've always looked at what's our next stage of evolution. And for myself and my business partner, Matt, we always wanted to open up a marketplace that was very data driven. There's a lot of marketplaces out there, but they don't tend to do everything that we see. And so when we were talking with one of our friends quite a few months ago, and we're like, we really want to do a marketplace. And he already had a marketplace that he had built. And as we started to evolve the conversation and really talk about why we wanted to do this, it wasn't just to have another marketplace. Our vision is how do we make, number one, property available for anyone and everyone across the globe if they wanted to invest in the US? Number two, how do we make a platform so that anybody can transact properties with ease and they don't need to go off the platform to do everything? So that's where we're starting with that. So Property 365 has been born out of a collaboration between us and some of our friends. We are merging some companies and products together, and we are about to go to market with this huge opportunity. And maybe what I can do, Logan, is share my screen and walk people through some of this, and I'll visually describe it as we go. So for those listening just on audio, and I'll get you to switch over to YouTube if you're listening on audio, and we can explain in a bit more detail what we're doing because it's really exciting.
Awesome. Yeah, so tell me, sorry, I just had a little upset here. Quick technical issue. My Siri is somehow going off and issuing me problems. Okay, that's better. So with you talked about there's other competing marketplaces. And I personally have so much admiration for what you're talking about because I have personally built a marketplace and I have tried to make it something unique and creative and exciting. And every step of the way, there is a roadblock. Every step of the way. Every time you try to add a new feature, an improvement, anytime you try to make a connection. I mean, even as simply as like taking the lead and passing it to somebody else is such a challenge that the idea of
Yeah.
somebody being able to actually transact, get on, I mean, all of this stuff is so powerful, and from a insider's perspective, such a challenge that a lot of folks, when they're used to using sort of a seamless software product, they do not realize everything that's going on behind the scenes.
Nope. 100% Logan. I can talk to this with a lot of confidence with one of our existing products called buyerfinder.io. So Buyerfinder, guys, is a really awesome tool that and this is the challenge, right? How do you make stuff easy and seamless from a user experience? So our byline with Buyerfinder is basically do your marketing out to local neighbors and cash buyers in 6 clicks and 60 seconds. So there's a challenge, right? How do you take something that normally takes people 2 or 3 days to download all their data for their neighbors, cleanse the data, do their mail merge, make sure that the property owner's not in the data, add in the cash buyers, so try and find out who's buying in the area, add that in, do your mail merge for that, get it off to a print team and get it done. The whole concept of just getting neighbor letters and cash buyers out was taking people 2 to 3 days because
Hmm.
it's so manual. We've now put that into an app that does it in 6 clicks and 60 seconds. Now, a lot of people use it and they're like, oh, this is so easy. But let me tell you, Logan, that product was probably 2 years in the making because sitting behind the scenes of that product is this huge database with APIs going all over it, with connectivity of, as you said, when you go from this screen to this screen, what's happening behind the scenes on that data side? How are we then migrating that to the print team? Like all of these little things that for you and I as product developers, we see it. But when people are using a platform, yeah, you're so right. They often don't see the hard work that's gone into making that platform as seamless and as easy as possible. And it is not easy. It's there's a lot of challenges and roadblocks that come with that. And we even, if I go back to Biofinder, one of the things that we needed is no matter how you put your APN in, because some APNs have dots, dashes,
Yeah.
spaces, the formatting of that is not consistent across the country, as you and I know. So no matter how you put it in, the logic and that AI sitting behind it to try and make sure it's pulling the right property for you. All of those little things that you just don't think about when you're building something. So it's pretty huge. So that's one product. And then I can talk about Property 365 too. But yeah, I mean, I see it with what you've built as well, right? User experience on the front end, easy. Behind the scenes, woo!
Yeah. So when you're talking about somebody, and maybe this would be a good time to transition into some of the screen sharing that you have for us today.
Yeah,
Folks, if you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify or any of the usual podcatchers, I would suggest switching over to YouTube at this point so you can kind of see a little bit about the I mean, it's hard to even call it like a website. It's an ecosystem, it's
not
an
a website.
entire, yeah, I mean,
Yep.
marketplace, I guess, but even marketplace isn't quite right because it goes beyond the
We,
marketplace.
here's what we're actually calling it, Logan. It's a
Okay.
property productivity platform.
Yeah, I mean, it even seems more than that because right, it
Yeah, I
also
know,
is,
right?
it's also people, it's contracts, it's, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So, um,
Everything. So let's before I go into the
yeah.
the platform itself and everything that it does, I want to kind of walk through our vision and our journey for where we want to take the real estate industry. And that's, for people listening, they might go, industry, just let that sit for a moment, guys. The industry itself in the US, which is huge. It is huge. We're talking realtors, real estate investors, brokerage, REO, banks, institutions, lending. It's massive, right? So we have a vision for how we want to integrate the entire industry into one seamless play, no matter where you're coming from within the industry. So where we're at, guys, for those listening on audio, I've got 4 stages here that I'm going through: the current state, the transition, the transformation, and the future state. The current state that we all work in, no matter if you're a realtor, real estate investor, broker, doing on market, off market, it doesn't matter. Whether you're doing land, single family, here's where we're all at. we've got a whole bunch of fragmented and inefficient systems that we do. And for a lot of people, it might not feel fragmented, but when I start to walk through this, people go, oh, yeah, it really is. So you're doing lead gen somewhere. You're then, if you're doing single family, maybe you go somewhere else for your insurance. Then you've got to go somewhere else for your comps. Maybe you're using MLS. Maybe you're going to different loan markets. You guys do private lending. You've then got title services. Maybe you're doing certain things in a CRM for lead management or property management. Then you've got to go to these other tools to get documents signed. The list goes on, right? So you've got all these fragmented tools. When we did a whole bunch of research into this, Logan, if we just take the use of a realtor, for example, a realtor will typically have between 12 to 15 different tools that they use to run their business.
Yeah.
And those 12 to 15 different tools cost them anywhere between $10,000 to $15,000 a year. That's just to operationalize your business. And it's the same for real estate investors. We are a data and marketing company. People come to us for a service, then they might come to you. They might be using a realtor, all these different fragmented things. So what do we want to do? First thing, we want to be able to transact. So the transition phase is the first unified property platform or property productivity platform where you can search for, buy, market to different properties, so on market and off market, turn those around and sell them, fund them, and close them all on the same platform without ever having to leave. Now, if we think about a use case for this, Logan, if you are a fix and flipper, you find the property, you can fund the deal, you can even fund the flip, the rehab of the property, you can get a loan on that, you can then fix it up, put it back on the platform as a new, well, improved property, and then close it all on the same platform. Everything is logic driven, state based, compliant, safe contracts. All of that stuff is embedded in there. So you don't even have to leave. Okay. So that's pretty cool. So that's phase one, transition into that. Now, where we're at is that's already available, as you saw when we took you through the demo. And we're just going to put a new front end user experience on that to make it a bit more seamless and sexy, let's say, right? Next phase is transformation. So transformation of the industry. And before I go through this, if we just think at the moment, so let's look at the new administration. So Trump is in. We've now got a czar of crypto that's been appointed, and the whole element of how they want to give consumers back control over their money, how they spend, how it's kept safe. And now we've got banks that are coming out and now saying, yep, we're going to be the custodians of crypto. So you can actually hold your crypto now in a bank. So the industry itself, even from a banking and finance perspective, is changing. The finance and banking industry has a huge impact on the real estate industry. And at the moment, if anyone listening goes out and Googles blockchain and tokenization of property, what are you going to see? You're going to see Amazon and Jeff Bezos tokenizing properties all over the place. You're going to see Grant Cardone. If anyone follows Grant Cardone, huge in the property environment. He's already doing a lot of blockchain of his commercial investments and tokenizing them for people to invest. It's happening. So the big players are already leading the space. Banks, so Bank of America, Chase Bank, et cetera, they've already got huge departments focused on blockchain and tokenization. And one of the companies that we're working with, a company called Zonix, they've already tokenized more than $3 billion worth of assets. So it's not that the future is coming, it's already here. Now it's just more about adoption. Okay,
Yeah,
so this whole...
Sorry, let's take a step
No,
back. 'Cause I think some people might be lost already. So you don't have to go through and explain all of blockchain for us, but can you tell us what you mean by tokenizing real estate?
Yeah, exactly. So let me come off screen share here and come back to you guys. So when you tokenize a property, obviously there's a couple of things. Now, what I will preface here is I am not an expert in this yet.
Yeah.
I'm still learning a lot as we go as well. But if you think about an asset, when you can break that asset up into different components and tokenize it, you can allow a couple of things to happen. Number one, shared ownership. So let's say you are doing a syndication. Maybe it's a piece of land that you're developing and you want syndicated owners to come in and help with that project, or it's a multifamily property that you want a whole bunch of people to come in and invest in. The traditional way of doing that is obviously through title allocation of the splitting out of percentages of that, et cetera. When you tokenize an asset and you're able to use different currencies to buy into that asset, the tokenization element on the blockchain is the ability to have owners come in and seamlessly transact into that deal without the need for your traditional way of doing it. So at a high level, that's probably enough to whet people's appetite on that, right? Because there's a lot. There's a lot that
Yeah.
we can go into there. The other element, though, is when you've got the property tokenized and minted. So a couple of things that people will know about minting is when it becomes, those tokens become real that you can transact. Now you tap into what's called DeFi lending. So DeFi lending is the next phase of lenders that are lending on tokenized assets and what's called Web3 enabled platforms, which we will be. This is where people dealing in crypto, dealing in real world asset tokenization, there's billions out there that people are lending on that now because it's the next evolution. And what that takes away, Logan, is the need for, if you're doing single family or if you want to use your own home, you now don't need to tap into a HELOC. You now don't need traditional mortgage companies, traditional lending. You can now lend in a different way against the tokenization of that asset. So there's a whole bunch of different elements that opens up as opportunities for people, and the ease of which you trade those assets, because you're not necessarily trading the property itself, but the paper that it's held in, right? So it opens up a whole new world for the ability to create ownership of different properties, tokenizing the real world asset itself. So an RWA, real world asset, that's the physical asset of the property. Yeah, lots there that I can go into. But as I said, I'm still learning so much about this as well, Logan. So which is why we've partnered with experts that know what this is all about. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And this would upset title companies completely, right? So if
Yep.
you have tokenized property, like there's so many things in real estate right now which are scary almost with how out of date they are. So, for example, the reason that like fraud is rampant right now,
Yeah.
it's getting worse every year in land specifically because most counties, it's not very difficult to just go file a deed or pretend to be somebody. And as soon as you do that, maybe you'll get away with it. Maybe you'll actually be able to go resell a property or do something. But at the very least, you're going to cloud and mess up title. So if the rightful
Yeah.
owner of a property tries to go sell it in the future, now they have this other huge headache to deal with.
Yeah.
And the only way for them to deal with that is to go hire professionals at a title company or an attorney that specializes in real estate. And that's just a simple example, but there's hundreds of examples of how we are using this system that was very practical for when we didn't have computers. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, we can write on a piece of paper
Yep. We'll do
and
a wet signature. We'll put a stamp on it. Yep.
yeah,
All of that.
and
You're
literally go
100% right,
file it in
Logan.
a book somewhere. Like that's
Yeah.
how it is still for a
Yeah.
lot of
So we really see this shaking up the title industry, and not in necessarily a bad way, but a good way, because I do see that as an industry that could really benefit from more security in how they're doing stuff, and tokenization allows for that because it's an indisputable record. When something goes onto the blockchain and the AI behind it is verifying it consistently. So if you think of blocks and chains together, that's literally what it is. It's pieces of code that are consistently verifying that asset and the ownership of it. So it's indisputable, it's verifiable, and it's fast.
hmm yeah.
We're
So
talking within a few clicks, right? As opposed to having to go through paperwork. And so this is some stuff that we're really exploring at the moment with some of our networks and contacts and some real big players in the industry. So in the productivity platform itself, we've actually got title companies that we're already working with, and we've got some brokerage. That's the word I was looking for. We've got a brokerage and some really good networks there from a realtor perspective that we're working with, so that as we're going through each use case, we're really testing it and going, okay, how does this apply with you guys? What problems does this fix? And how does this make things more efficient so that you've got the ability to offer more services to your customers as well?
yeah, and effectively, the reason this is going to be so upsetting is there's going to be like a stopgap in the short term where, like, before everything's tokenized, you're still going to need title company. There's still going to be all these needs, but eventually, we are going to kind of work our way out where real estate is going to be treated much more like e-commerce.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of benefits to that. There's going to be some drawbacks that we're going to have to deal with, of course, but it's pretty much inevitable that this is the course
Yeah.
of action. It's really just like
I
how
agree.
much the title companies and local jurisdictions and MLS
Yeah.
and all these people throw fits and try to because that's kind of the scariest thing. I don't know. Do y'all have any concerns with frivolous lawsuits from any of these entities that you are going to effectively potentially cause some upset with?
Not really. No, because I think at the end of the day, if we can show them how it benefits them and that they can access it to improve what they do, that's got to be a good thing. And if we just go back a step, like let's look at the evolution from COVID. So pre-COVID, like doing real estate was so much tougher than what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-COVID, you had title companies that, you must come in and sign in person. You had a lot of old school ways of doing things. And what happened during COVID, very, very quickly, we saw this adoption of a new way of doing stuff. Mobile notaries became that much more in need. Being able to do things via DocuSign and that were now accepted from title companies as a wet signature. And that's just two examples, right? There's a whole bunch of things I can think about that open the door for doing business differently. Even internationally, being able to do a RON, a remote online notary, where you're on video with someone and signing documents, like that didn't exist before COVID. So if we think of evolution and change, it's inevitable that at various stages in an industry, something or someone, be that an external event like COVID or more of an internal event where someone comes up with an idea, something or someone will come along and cause a disruption. Now, that disruption can be positive, where people embrace it and go, well, this is the future, let's get on board. Or it can be negative, where people go, I'm not ready for that. I'm going to wait and see what happens. In either case, there's benefits, right? Because the people that are the early adopters are able to shape how that industry ends up moving forward. The people that are the late adopters, they have the benefit of kind of seeing who goes first. But also, at some stage, they end up in a position where there's no choice but to get on board. Otherwise, they get left behind. And that's just business 101. I don't think it matters what business you're in. If you choose to stay the same and not evolve like dinosaurs, you'll eventually become extinct.
Yeah. And I mean, even like the product where it currently stands, even before the tokenization and this other stuff that's going on, like the amount of power that it already has is out. Like I was thinking about all those services that we have. Like my wife does a great job of going through and making sure that we're cutting out services that we don't need, because I'll just sign up for stuff and forget about it, and she's always reining me in. But like we have 3 services just for automation, all doing the same thing, just trying to put together something that's a quarter as good as this. So it's like the power, even as it currently stands, is outrageous.
Yeah. It is. It's pretty cool. So this is what the platform will end up looking like and have everything in it. This is pretty much already there, except for the fact that we're just working on the blockchain, crypto, and NFT, so non-fungible tokens and Web3. But where we're at the moment, so I'll go back to here. This is where we're at the moment. So the platform itself, it'll be usable for both realtors, brokers, real estate investors like you and I, Logan, for sale by owners, REOs, banks, Wall Street. So we've got a lot of big firms that are already on there that do a lot of selling of properties for, even mortgages, and buying of institutional buyers as well as enterprise customers. Now, what our vision is because we're very data driven, every single property across America will have a listing on the platform. Now, when I use the word listing, that doesn't mean it's for sale, because this is about on market and off market, but every property will be on there. Everything from agricultural to commercial, industrial, public works, residential, vacant land, you name it, it's all on there. So the on market is going to pull through everything that is currently advertised, MLS, different marketplaces that we can pull through that inventory to have a collective space where people can access it. Off market will be on there because, as you and I do, we're often going after those off-market deals, and how we do that is with all of these services. So direct mail, SMS, website, social, cold calling, email, chat, SEO, all of those different marketing functions are built into the platform that you can choose from. So if you go onto the platform and you can't see the properties that you want, with the off-market, you can click a button and say, I want to run a campaign for these types of things in my buy box, and it will do it all for you automatically. So then once you find the right deal, you've currently got the ability to, buy that property, find different properties, market to those properties, sell it, fund the deal, and then close it, all on the platform. So what is embedded in that? So just in that cycle itself, the data behind that is going to give you insights and analytics. There's legal services. So let's say you need probate or a real estate attorney in the state that you're in. Mortgages and loans, we've already got a whole bunch of lenders on the platform. looking to get more. Title and escrow is already embedded. We've got some national title companies that are more up to speed with things, Logan, where they're
Yeah.
online and everything can be digitally managed. So we've integrated their services and their workflows into the platform. Marketing and listings, property inspections, appraisals, property management, that's already in there. Them that's underpinned by a whole bunch of AI and workflow automation. So how we're using AI, number one, education and support. So we've already set up an AI bot for the tokenization element so people can call a number and find out about blockchain and tokenization just as an education. But we'll have a whole bunch of AI for every stage on the platform. So if someone is stuck, they can call a number and the AI is going to walk them through everything that they need to get up and running. So that's pretty cool. Workflow automation is really going to be about the seamless integration, as we said before, of moving from one stage to the next. What has to happen behind the scenes to make sure that that's really seamless for the user? And that's all underpinned by big data, whole bunch of APIs that hang everything together, and a technology stack as well. And where we're essentially heading then, Logan, so this will be launched very, very soon. We've just got probably a couple of months before we're really up and running with the UX UI, which for the non-tech people, UX UI is about user experience and user interface. So when you're using a platform or a product, how easy, how sexy is it? How much does it work for you and your use case? Okay. But essentially where we're going to end up is here. And this is where it'll be end to end, where every single property will be on the blockchain and we'll have an NFT on it. And then what you can do as a property owner is claim that. And these last two things here is once you mint it and tokenize it, now you can get lending against it through DeFi lending or Web3 lenders. So it's pretty cool. So it's the future state.
Yeah, and that's kind of a big deal, especially for vacant land. Like vacant land's tough to lend against. People don't
Yep.
like doing it.
Nope.
Uh,
Let's say
yeah,
you want
so
to do a development on it or a subdivision, you can get a whole bunch of fractional owners to go in on that deal with you. And once the deal's done, here's your fractional ownership back plus interest. So there's loads of things that you can do to get really creative here. And I think we're
yeah,
just scratching the surface. As I said, I'm still every single day with our providers and our networks that we're doing this with, I am learning so much. So if I've said something today, guys, that you go, I'm not sure if that's 100% AJ, don't worry, I'm still learning too. So yeah, lots of stuff that we got going on here, which is really cool.
yeah. So I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are going to see the potential here, but I mean, this is as if you had everything readily available at your hand. This is like a business. It's what you could operate an entire business through this ecosystem.
Yeah,
Every investor could literally delete every other software they have and just go doot, 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 access, look at listings. All of Supercharged is going to be in there effectively, right? So you could
yep,
just lasso around
100%.
an area where you want to buy land and set a price and boom and send it off, and it's going to be text messages and emails and
Yep.
cold calling. Everything's going to go. It's
All
really
of that. Yeah, I
intense.
love it. And if we think of it like this, the other way I like to talk about it is a circular economy. So are you familiar with the term circular economy, Logan?
No, but I'm about to be, I think.
Yeah, so circular economy is where the product or service feeds on itself and it kind of keeps evolving and you never have to leave that circle. So even if you think of it from any other product, actually, I won't delve in and use another product because we'll go off track. But a circular economy is really about how do you keep people using your product or service to keep evolving in it as they grow and develop, right? So they
Hmm.
never have to go anywhere else. So if we think about this through the lens of the what, the who, the how, and I won't go into this in minutia, but the what is it's a circular economy. So deals done all day, every day, not needing to leave. The who is the one platform for all users, plus all of the ancillary services or vertical services, if you like. The how is based upon supply and demand. So let me walk through this and explain it in a bit more detail. So down the side here, we've got find, sell, buy, market, acquire, fund, and close. But once you've let's just say that you're a vacant land person, you find the property, you buy that property, you then do what you want to that property, or maybe you're marketing it out there. You then do some more acquisitions on contract management and deal facilitation. You then fund it and close the deal. But then by the time you've done that, let's say it's a subdivision, you might then just put it straight back onto the platform to sell. So you never have to go anywhere else. Same with a fix and flipper. You find a property, you want to obviously get that property sold, but at the point in time that you want to fund the deal itself and then put it back on to get it sold, you never have to leave. So it's really quite cool. And again, at each of these stages, we're really using AI behind the scenes to match supply and demand. So let's just say that you're a buyer and you want to buy a whole bunch of vacant land or some single family. You'll put your buy box onto the platform. The AI is actually going to go into all the different marketplaces that we're merging into one. It's going to suggest those properties for you. But if there isn't anything that meets your needs, it's going to move you through to the stage of, well, do you want us to market to find some of those properties for you? So it's really about keeping people in the ecosystem at every stage of no matter where they're at with their properties,
Yeah, and
which
that,
is pretty cool.
you can really see that when y'all were walking me through it. I was literally thinking like, oh, a good feature here would be, and then the next feature would be exactly what you do in the next step. So it's it's all in there.
Yeah, and this is what it's going to look like, Logan. So again, for those listening on audio, jump onto to YouTube and check this out. So in terms of the user interface and the user experience, this is just the buy box side. You'll be able to put in all your criteria. It's going to give you both on market and off market deals. So you'll be able to see every property. If it is off market, you can still make an offer on that and we'll facilitate that offer for you. If it's on market, you can literally make an offer on the platform. All the contracts will be drafted up for the state that you are in. It will send a notification to the seller and say, hey, you've got a new offer on your property. Sign here if you want to accept it. As soon as it gets signed on both. So Logan, I just want to show you, and for those that are listening on audio, jump onto YouTube and check this out because we spoke a lot with building products about user experience and user interface. This is just an example of how the platform's going to look. So we want to make it sexy. So this is the buy side. So on this, you can put in your buy box. It will bring you all of the properties that are either on market that you can make an offer on straight away or off market that we can also facilitate the marketing out to that particular prospect. So you can choose your properties. And again, we're just using our single family on here as an example. But if you can't find what you need, you just go down to here and find similar. And based upon your buy box, it's going to create a marketing campaign for you that we can go out and actually find more of those off-market deals for you as well. So pretty cool and pretty seamless. The way that it works as well is you can send an offer. So where it's got buy now, you can literally digitize an offer out to the property owner. Everything is done under a safe contract that per state. So if it's a state that you can't wholesale in, for example, it'll be the right contract and it will start to put funders in front of you that you can use to fund the deal to be able to close it. So it knows what to do for every single state and location that we're in. And if that property owner accepts your contract, they can e-sign it on their phone if they wanted to. And when that's done, automatically it's going to move it through to the next stage of close. So it will go to a title company, it will open up escrow for you, and everything will be done on the one platform. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and this to me seemed like a pipe dream before you guys were showing me how it was all put together. I was like, oh, you can send someone an offer. No, this is a legitimate contractual offer that they can sign and accept. And I think there's even a counter offer built in.
There is,
So
yeah, and you've actually you're one of the few that's actually seen the back end working because we took you through a demo, and so you've seen it, right? How
yeah.
quickly it was to put in the stipulations in the contract, make sure it's got the right stuff in there. It all did it for you. It pulled through all your information. It pulled through all the property owner's information. One click later and sign and it's done. So it was pretty easy.
Yeah, and there's even like limiters in there. So people aren't going to be sending you $1 offers all day on your properties and things like that. Like it's all really well thought out and put together.
Yeah.
It's really incredible.
Our partner
Uh,
who's in this, Mark, who's a software developer, he's really the visionary behind the end to end with that, and he's been incredible. So yeah, we're coming up with new ideas every day. So
yeah, I would love to see the visual of how the back end is all put together. I mean, it must be
no,
insane.
you wouldn't.
This is incredible. So, what are you looking for right now as far as this product's
Yeah.
concerned?
Yeah, what we're looking for right now is some investors. So we've got a couple of investors already involved, which is really exciting. We're after people that want to be on this journey with us. So our minimum investment we're looking for at the moment is 25,000, and we're doing that based upon a current valuation of 14 million. We have had it professionally valued by a company, guys, called Equivista. So Equivista, they actually do what's called a 409A, where they take all of your product, service, what you've got existing, what the market's doing. They run analysis. They've already valued it this at a pre-cash valuation of 128 million, which is very cool. But we said at the initial phase of getting investors involved, we want the valuation a lot lower, so we've got more upside as we start to grow for investors. So we are looking for investors to get involved and be part of the journey with us. These first round of investors also, we want feedback along the way. So not only do you get to invest and have a 12% return on that investment, but you also get to keep your shares once that's paid back and be a part of the long-term journey. So at the moment, our ask is come along and talk to me if you want to be a part of this journey, because it's going to be super exciting.
Yeah, and that's a pretty low buy-in for something that is this big, for sure. So if
Yeah.
folks want to reach out to you, how do they do that?
Yeah, so best to go to this website here, guys, and I'll read it out for anyone who's not seeing this visually. Oh, so we've got this website here called property365.scoreup.com, and we can put that in your notes as well, Logan. So property365.scoreup, SCOREAPP.com. This is the investor information page. It's going to have all the information on here about what we're doing, how we're doing it, what we're aiming to achieve, and being a part of the movement. Once people fill out their information on there, it'll come through to me. I'll get people over an NDA, and then I can give them the whole investor pack that they can jump into and explore in more detail.
Man, that's incredible. Well, cool.
And
That's
time
really
is of the
exciting.
essence. Time
Yeah,
is
I
of the
would
essence, because
say
once we close this round, it's going to go up. Our next raise is going to be at 36 million. So it's going up every day.
you need bigger wallets for that, folks. So, well, perfect. Outside of that, supercharged offers, buyerfinder.io. What else?
Buyerfinder.io is where I can quickly show people this if you like. So
Yeah.
buyerfinder.io, guys, really good app to back up all the stuff that you're doing with Logan. So once you've got your property online, I'll show you how easy it is to direct people to it. So let's just say, and this is the 6 clicks in 60 seconds, right? So I'm going to look up a property. I've got one in the back of my head here. So this is in Lincoln, North Carolina. So you can look up the property through the address, the APN, or let me log in first. Hold on one sec. Just logging in here, guys, because there we go. Once you've set it up, you can look up the property through the address, the APN and state, or the lat long. So for people doing vacant land, often that lat long is the easiest thing to use. But this one's in Lincoln, North Carolina. So you just find the property. It's going to go into the database and pull through all of the property information. So this one here, it's giving us a map. I can put this on satellite view and check that out as well. Now, let's say that I did use the lat long, Logan. As you and I know, sometimes the lat long puts you on the border of a property.
Yeah,
So it might
shifts you or
kick
something.
you over. Yeah. So let's say it's not the right location and you go, it's actually this one next door. So you can switch it to the right property. Once you've got the right one, going to go into our database, all of our 158 million in the database, search all of the neighbors and cash buyers in the area. Cash buyers are people that have bought multiple properties within a radius that are similar to yours and not at wholesale prices. So cash buyer and above. Then what you do, we got all the neighbors in a block, subdivision, neighborhood, and cash buyers. Come down here and say, look, I want to keep all the cash buyers, but I don't want to send out 160 to all of the closest neighbors. I just want to send out 35. There we go. It's going to choose the closest 35. Then you come down here. And by the way, if you're a realtor listening to this, you can also send out stuff on behalf of your customers. You can send out a flyer and a letter or a postcard. In this case, let's send out a flyer and a letter. Then what we do is we say, all right, the property's worth 50,000. We're going to sell it for 45. Then you've got the choice of editing. So a couple of things you can edit on here, Logan. Number one is the color. So let's make this, it's a vacant land property. You can pull through all of your branding colors. You can even put your hex codes in here. So primary color, secondary colors, and then the text color. Let's make our secondary color like a nice bright blue. There we go. Awesome. On your platform, if they've got a URL for where their property is on your platform, they can enter that. For interest's sake, I'm just going to put supercharged offers on here. It's then going to create a QR code. So when they get the letter, they can literally scan and go straight onto your platform, Logan. Very cool.
Very cool.
Now let's have a look at what we want to show them. So this particular property, I don't like the view that Google's giving me there. So let's switch the street view. There it is. I'm going to put it there. It's a nice cleared lot. It's already got a driveway. Fantastic. Now, there used to be a house on here. And as you can see, the county records are still showing it as single family. So let me come down here and just quickly edit this. And I'm even going to go vacant land, cleared. I'm going to say there's no livable space because the house is gone. Bedrooms is 0. Bathrooms is now 0. So it is clearly vacant land. And by the way, we got it surveyed and it's now 0.65 because the survey showed that it was a little bit off last time. So now we've got that. We can also edit this picture, the map. Let's zoom out a little bit to show that there's some parkland close by. Now I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to save that snapshot. By the way, if I've got my own images that I want to upload, I can do that. Just upload here. Or if I want to toggle between street view or map view, I can do that here as well. Got my logo uploaded. So now I just go up here. This is the flyer. Looks pretty sexy. Now I can check the letter. So there's a letter for the neighbor that talks to the neighbor in the area. And there's a letter for the cash buyer that talks about what they want to do in the area as well. So now that mail piece looks really good. I'm going to go down the bottom and go approve. And all I need to do is pay for it and I'm done. That's how easy that is, Logan. And what it will do is in the data, it's going to pull out the current owner. So if you don't want to mail the current owner of the property, it's going to pull them out automatically. But it's also then going to parse the data, cleanse it, scrub it, put it in the right format, do the mail merge for you, and then it's going to email you through the data. So you can upload that to your CRM if you wanted to.
Yeah, and that only took 2 years to make, right? No big deal.
Yeah. No big deal.
That's incredible. Yeah, folks, I highly suggest trying it. It's actually in our portal for Prime Land Exchange. So if you're for one of our clients, you just go click in there and use it.
Oh.
All right. Well, beautiful. Thank you so much for your time. We're already, top of the hour already. I got to get ready for my next one. I got to pretend I'm not wearing I have to change my sweater so I don't look like I'm the same,
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me on to walk through this exciting opportunity, Logan. I hope for anyone listening, if they want to get involved, just reach out to me. You can just email me direct if you want at alicia@superchargedoffers.com. Be more than happy to get you on a call with our team and talk about what we're doing with Property 365.
Badass. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, folks. We will see you on the next one. Cheers.
Bye.